Hey there, comic friends. I'm Travis, and this is another edition of What the Fugue, where I talk about what's going on with me in my week of comics. Well, so as some of you know from my last videos, I planned on going to Las Vegas to the amazing Comic-Con, and I did, and I had a pretty decent time. It's a small little con. I think this is like its second or third year that it's actually, my understanding is that this is the second or third year they've had it. The Amazing Comic Con is actually like a business of sort. I think they put on the one that's in Phoenix. They have one that's in Houston or Dallas, I think. They're going to have one in Hawaii. This is kind of their thing. It's you know, they go around and present Comic-Cons, it seems like. Southwest, seemingly most of them, and then Hawaii this year, I think, is the first year they're doing that. So more of a business-oriented kind of a show as far as that goes. It was interesting. It was interesting from the perspective of the only con I've ever gone to is Emerald City Comic Con. And over the last 5 or 6 years, Emerald City Comic Con has grown into a very big con, a really, really nice con. Lots and lots of creators, lots of panels, massive floor space. You know, it takes up, you know, 4 or 5 levels of a convention center and sprawls across all kinds of stuff. Just a really, really big thing. And the Las Vegas Con is very small in comparison. It's like a 10th size-wise. So yeah, I was there for 3 days. I really could have been there for 1 and probably hit everything if I was really busy in the one day. There weren't a lot of panels. I believe, if I remember correctly, there were some breaking into comics panels. I think some of them were, you know, paid to get more educational version of it. Jim Lee was there. Jim Lee did a couple signings. And there was a panel that he was at where you got to watch him draw, supposedly. I never really heard that ever get announced that was actually happening. The other panels were Rob Liefeld panels, you know, King of Pop, Culture, blah, 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 things which I wasn't really interested in. Nothing against the guy. It's just, it was a weird vibe at his table and stuff. And so, yeah. But I enjoyed myself. Like I said, it was a really small con. I stayed, it was at a resort, and I actually stayed at the resort that the con was in. So that was kind of nice in the fact I could go and buy something if I wanted to or whatever, or if I was tired, or I wanted to use the bathroom that had been used by 1,000 people. I could go back to my room in a matter of moments and unload whatever I needed to unload, and then you know, come back to the con whenever I felt like it. And other than the initial lines at the very beginning of the day that they queue you up into, if you just waited a few minutes past time to let people in, then they had other doors open. If you had a pass, you could just walk right through, which I did. So it made it really, really handy and really convenient. So there were some creators there that I, you know, decided, well, I'll get some books, you know, signed by them, and some people I actually want to talk to and whatnot. So I'm just going to show you the books that I got signed. Nothing too exciting. And I'll show you some of the other things that I bought. Yeah, I don't know. You know, we'll see. Don't know if this excites everybody or not. And I'll talk as I show. So I got Batman Superman issue 1 signed by John Lee. He was there. He was kind of a last minute kind of a guest. I like this part of the series of this, so I think I get signed. It was really cool. While he was there, he was doing sketch covers and stuff like that. So it was really interesting to walk by his table periodically and watch him at work with a brush and some ink, basically. He had some simple pencil lines, and then he would just ink these really cool Batmans and Supermans and stuff like this. He was working on one, I believe, that was Superman dressed as, you know, as Clark Kent, and he's eating some noodles. It was just really, it was really cool. Wish I would have got pictures of it. I didn't. I'm horrible at taking pictures at con. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just really not good at doing that. I need to hire a cameraman. I would get my kids to do it. Of course, they didn't come on this one, but they're horrible. Their hands are so shaky that they're horrible. Anyway, there's Jelly's signature there. Detective Comics. This is issue 30. This is the beginning of Mandipool and Buccioletto's run. I have Buccioletto sign it down here. Buccioletto was doing watercolor bust things I thought about getting, and just never got back to him while he was around to do that. So that was kind of a bummer there. Let's see here. 27. I got it signed by Charles Scholl here. Whoops. Sorry, drop all my stuff. So yeah, I talked with Charles Scholl for a while. Let's see, I got She-Hulk #1 signed there by Charles Scholl, Stay Green. I also got Letter 44 signed by Charles Scholl, and I got Swamp Thing for Swamp Thing that he did signed by Charles Scholl. And I had a long conversation about Swamp Thing because no one was really bugging Mr. Scholl, so I talked with him for a while. Talked to him about the fact, you know, a lot of us that read Swamp Thing, this is a conversation that comes up fairly often on the Comic Book Roundtable, that we're worried about sales because the sales on Swamp Thing sometimes are lower than other books that are being canceled. And I told him, you know, we're all worried. You know, what's going on? We're really, you know, other than pushing it and buying more books, what can be done? Because we're all worried and we all love it, really liking it a lot. And he said that he's got 2 storylines after the current storyline that's going on right now, pre-approved, you know, in the books. That doesn't, obviously that doesn't mean the DC can't change their mind or whatever. And he says he doesn't think Swamp Thing is going anywhere because he thinks that DC sees Swamp Thing as being a premier title. It's one of the characters that they always want to have in circulation, which I think is interesting. I didn't think Swamp Thing was that kind of popular, obviously, with the sales. But he also said that he thought that the trades were starting to sell well. I guess the first, you know, some of his trades are out. The first trades of the current storyline, I think, are out. But yeah, he seemed really helpful. He didn't seem concerned. It wasn't like he was telling me, oh man, you get as many of your friends to buy the book as you can because it's going to go away or anything like that. So, so yeah, I mean, so I think we can be hopeful. You know, obviously keep pushing the book. You know, obviously sales matter too. But that was interesting for him to say that Swamp Thing was a premier character and something they didn't think that they would be taking out of circulation due to sales. So, kind of interesting. Anyway, some stuff from Charles Scholl there. Harlequin issue 1. I was going to have this signed by Chad Harding, the artist. He was there. He was super busy, and he wasn't there that often. I talked with him very briefly the first few minutes of the very first day of the con. It's one of the first places I went to because I was kind of curious if he was selling Harlequin pages. He was already busy at work on commissions. He had a long list of commissions already lined up. And his handlers, he had some friends there that were helping him out, were kind of keeping him on task. And they basically said he isn't signing anything right now. And he ended up leaving the con quite a bit to do some work because he had deadlines to keep up on and all that kind of stuff, which is fine, you know, whatever. The few times he did come back to the con, his line was very long. There are tons of Harlequin fans out there, but his line was crazy long. Even people who didn't know him as being the Harlequin comic book artist, he had some posters, some awesome looking posters for sale of Harlequin, and people were lining up just to buy that, if nothing else. So that was kind of crazy just how busy he was. But as far as his pages for sale, he doesn't have any old pages. The only pages he had for sale were pages for an issue that hadn't come out yet. He said he had them there with him. I could look at them if I wanted to, if I was interested in buying and whatnot. Well, I don't want the current stuff, really. There was some pages from some prior issues. But he says that the book is so popular right now that he's literally almost always has the pages sold before the comic actually comes out. So, kind of interesting for that. Didn't get it signed, but some interesting thought. Okay, so I got Hypernatural signed by Andy Lanning, and I also had him sign my issue of Resurrection Man. Both books that most people probably watching this video haven't heard of or don't know a whole lot about of. Both of them I really enjoyed. I had a good conversation about both books. We talked a little about Resurrection Man, about how I enjoyed it and stuff, and I just thought it was unfortunate that it really couldn't find an audience fast enough. And he said, well, yeah, you know, and we knew that was going to happen going in. You know, we told DC that, you know, we're happy to do it. We're happy to enjoy doing it. But with the launch of the new 52, you're competing in the same month with 52 other brand new titles. what are the chances you're not going to make it? And I agree with him that, yeah, that was one of the things that I had mentioned when the New 52 first started was, how are you going to, you can't compete with you're competing with your own company's books, and with it being such an unknown thing, it would make it very hard, except for those of us who are interested in exploring the unknown. Makes it really rough for them to be successful. But anyway, enjoyed talking with him. Most of you probably know him. He's a Guardians of the Galaxy type person and whatnot. That's why most people there talk with him and whatnot. So he seemed pretty pleased to talk about something different, because that's what everybody else was talking about. So nice English gentleman, and enjoyable to talk to him. And finally, I had signed my original I bought in my youth copy of Crisis on the Infinite Earths, signed right there by George Perez. George Perez is like, as far as comic books go, he would definitely be an idol of mine, as far as he helped develop my informative years of reading comics. I was reading this. I also got him to sign my Judas Contract. I could have had him sign some really early Teen Titans. Those early Teen Titans I went back and bought, but they don't mean stuff to me like this does. I wanted something signed that meant something to me. These two books mean something to me. This arc was so huge in my head. We've been exposed to all kinds of stuff, to starting to get exposed to more interesting stuff as comic book readers during this era in the 80s. But I don't remember reading anything that had this kind of impact, this level of betrayal that goes on in the Teen Titans Judas Contract and stuff. And I just remember it being a really big deal, it being a heavy, heavy story for what it was at the time in 1984. And so I had him sign these two things. I also had him, he was doing head sketches. I had him do a head sketch for me. This is where I went first, was to see George Perez, the first thing I went to do. And really enjoyed getting to talk to him. Incredibly gracious and nice man, and just an absolute pleasant person to talk to, which made across the aisle and down a little bit was where Rob Liefeld was, and the spectacle that was Rob Liefeld versus this humble man was just kind of interesting. I guess I'll leave it at that. I did buy some other stuff besides just getting things signed. I'll go into that, and we'll end on my George Perez sketch that I got. But I bought a couple prints. I normally don't buy a whole lot of prints, but these kind of struck me. I like the style of them, so I got them. Who knows if I'll ever put them up? I haven't put up my Saga prints that I got 2 years ago from Fiona Staples, so who knows? But anyway, so I really like this one. I've always liked the Gotham Sirens, the ladies of Gotham. Basically, I like them together as a group. This is a kind of a cool style. You got Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy there, and you've got this shadowed Batman running down what looks like a broken sidewalk that says Batman on it. I just really like it. These are all from the same guy, and then there's just Ivy by herself with Gotham written across it. I'm gonna see if I can get these all framed together, maybe. That'd be kind of cool together. And then Birds of Prey, basically, right there. You've got Oracle, Black Canary, and Huntress, and Blackhawk, and the shadow of Batman there. Just really like this person's style. This guy's name is Joss Scope. It's JUSSOCOPE. And he's got a website at jossscope.com. I haven't actually been to the website. He tells me on the website that he has more of that type of artwork. I really like his style. He had a lot of different stuff that was really cool. I just don't know what I'm going to do with prints, as long as I didn't buy them. And those prints were $5, so kind of hard to go wrong with some kind of cool art for that kind of price. But I also bought from him. I'm a White Stripes fan. I bought this too. It's a kind of a mock 45 cover, basically, of the White Stripes, and it's kind of that would be just think it's kind of cool. It's got the stamp down there. This is actually a limited printed copy of 300. He says on his website he's got more music type stuff. He's going to be doing more music type stuff. I mean, he even has the mock sales tag on it. But I thought that was cool too. Not that that's comic book oriented, but still. Cool all the same. There are actually quite a few really interesting artists there. And I say artists not as in comic book artists. These were artists that were selling other types of art. And they had some comic book oriented stuff. I think they produced the comic book oriented stuff to kind of mesh in with the con and see if they could get some cross sale type stuff. But there were some really, really talented, interesting artists there that, you know, weren't just, that beyond the people who were making the, kind of con art, pinup art that you see lots of at you know, in the cons that I've been to, where it's more of a kind of a, you know, how do we make the superhero in hot, or the superhero over the top, you know, bloody if it's Wolverine or whatever. But like I said, there were people who were actually some watercolor artists there, and there were some oil painters there that did some their own takes on like the Joker, or their own takes on like the Batman family. I wish I got pictures of some of that. That was really, really impressive, and plus they had just other art that was not centered on that. That was really cool too. Anyway, some of the other stuff I picked up. Hardback of Strange Attractors. This is a Charles Soule book. He recommended this because of all the different other mix of things of his that I read that I might be interested in. I've known about the book and just have never gotten around to picking it up. So, of course, I had him sign it. He signed it, Stayed Complicated. So, yeah, you know, excited to have it. Look forward to reading it. Maybe at some point here during one of these fugues I will talk about it if I get on reading it. But man, I picked up quite a few trades, so who knows how long it'll take for me to get through all of them. I also, next to Jali was Epting, artist for Velvet. I haven't been picking this up in singles. I keep hearing people talk good things about it. I figured best place to pick up a trade is straight from one of the creators. That way I know all the money's going in their pocket. So I picked up this first trade. We'll give it a shot. I like Ed Brubaker, but I'm not real big on straightforward just spy type books, and so I kind of shied away from this. But you know, at the $10 price for the first image trade, yeah, I'm gonna get it signed. It's kind of fun, so I figured I'd get that. I went down and talked to John Layman. I didn't take anything with me to have him sign, which is kind of silly. But I knew I was going to pick up the first issue of Chew from him. Of course, you know, Wednesday Serials talks about Chew. There's lots of people who have read Chew. I think Nerdy Nat Comics, she has commented on Chew. Cried. There's just tons of people who have commented on Chew. And so I figured I need to start picking it up. So I picked up the first trade for him, got it signed, talked with John for a little bit. John Layman is one of those people I really like to follow on Twitter. He's always got smart-ass things to say about a lot of stuff. He always has a Sunday tweet that people never seem to figure out that's a joke. You know, he'll talk about the season finale of The Walking Dead, you know, weeks and weeks before it's actually happening, just to stir people up, and people bite on it and whatnot. So got that from him. Excited to get to read that. I also picked up, because I didn't actually get this. I didn't order it. People talked about it being good, so I figured what the hell it was there. So I picked up this from John. Also had him sign it, the Chew Revival book. So I'll be reading that. That's fun. Something else I picked up that's got nothing to do with a lot of that. This is a Ghost variant, which I normally don't pick up very many variant issues of comics. This is actually issue 15 of Fatale. I just really liked this, with Josephine there pulling a curtain closed so you don't really see anything, but of course there's an arm sitting down here. Issue 15, I didn't even realize what issue it was when I got it. I just thought it was cool. It cost me all of $3, you know, which is, right, cover price, basically. And the reason I picked it up is I don't have with me, I was buying some trinkets for my kids, and the place I bought it from was having problems making change at the time, so this just kind of evened out. It was, you know, it's easy for me to pay $5 and buy this plus the trinkets I was buying for the kids. So I got it. Figured what the hell, I kind of liked it. At any rate, and then as far as other new things I bought that were signed, I bought this. I'm not even sure. Samsarara. I don't even know if that's sure exactly how to say it. It's a indie book put out by Ness and Irwin. James Ness is a writer. He wrote some of the stories I like from Insanity, Arizona. It was a Kickstarter that we did. For those of you who have been with me for a long time, who have been part of the roundtable for a long time, and the incarnation before that when it was Comic Talk over on Captain Cummings' channel. The Insanity guys were all invited, and they came and they did a hangout with us, and we chatted with the guys, and that's kind of how I know them, and how I got the Insanity, became part of the Insanity Kickstarter. I supported that Kickstarter and got their book and whatnot. And so I went and talked to James. I had to tell him that he's got a story in the Insanity Arizona about this diner, and the diner, the burgers are made out of ground up cat, and the milkshakes are made out of mother's breast milk that's pumped in the back while people are waiting for the milkshakes. And yeah. So I had to at least tell him that, he's pretty much wrecked diner food for me. I don't think I can go to a diner now without thinking about that. While I was there, this book was like $5, so I figured I'd pick it up. It's basically kind of he said it was a little more personal, more introspective than some of his other stuff he's done. It's basically a story about 3 or 4 people who relive the same moment and decisions that they make and how that impacts their lives and stuff. And it just looks like a kind of cool little trade, a little indie book. So yeah, that's it for new stuff that I bought. And then I bought some back issues. I actually went and did back issues. I've never done that before. Anytime I've been at like Emerald City Comic Con, it's always been too busy. I've always got too much stuff going on, or I'm too damn tired by the time I get to the end of the day to really hunt through lots and lots of boxes. So I had some stuff in mind that I wanted to get, and I just kind of perused otherwise. And so I finished up my my Kirby run of the Demon. I picked up issue 9 here, and none of these are like in awesome condition. I don't know. I don't think it matters what condition they are, right? They're not falling apart or anything like that, but I'm not a grader. Anyway, issue 9, and here's issue 4. Nothing like having these out of order, huh? Issue 4, there, wonderful Kirby art. And the other one I needed for Demon was issue 6. I got these all at a reasonable price, even for me, and I'm pretty cheap when it comes to buying back issues. I don't like to spend a lot on them. So that's my Demon run. I actually own all of Kirby's run of Demon now. I really like character Integrate, or however you say his name. Everybody says it differently, it seems like. And of course, Kirby, can't go wrong with Kirby. So I have all those now. Pretty excited to have that. I also completed my run of Commandy this weekend with getting issue 21, and I absolutely love that cover. Ooh, glare. That crab, just perfect Kirby art there. And you gotta love the Commandy covers. These old covers with the things that say them and whatnot. This one, there's still plenty of life in old Michigan, but it was all monstrous. Dun, dun, dun. Giant crab. Anyway, and then issue 32 of Commandy. This is the giant size issue. Yay! So looking forward to reading that. These are the few I have not read, because I read the whole Commandy run. And then these are non-Kirby issues. Just to finish the run out, here's issue 54. And issue 57. So I now have a complete run of Commandy. Yay! Pretty excited about that. And the other book I bought was pretty excited to find. I actually went to 6 different vendors before I actually found one that had it. Half of those vendors said, why in the world do you, what's so important about that one to need exactly that one? And it is Brave and the Bold, issue 85, right there. Batman and Green Arrow. This is a Neil Adams, of course. And if we want to talk condition, I think it's probably a 4.0 or 4.5 maybe. What's important to me about this issue, I'm a big Green Arrow fan, love Green Arrow. This is the first issue with Green Arrow in the contemporary, or modern, I guess, modern costume of the Silver Age. Any issue before this of Green Arrow, of course, he's got the red gloves and stuff. This is the new costume, and that's why I got it mostly. And I got it for a good price. I got about $8 is what I paid for it. So I think that's a pretty good win, it sounds like, from talking to some people on Twitter while I was there. Because internet service, like all of the stupid cons, as soon as you step into the con hall, I don't know if it's the fact is 1,000 other people are trying to use their phones at the same time, or whatever, or it's the fact you're in the middle of some concrete bunker. But man, the service just sucks, and it makes it really hard to check prices and that sort of thing as far as that goes. But very happy to have it. This is one of those few things where I bought it because it's a quote-unquote key issue. Key issues don't necessarily mean a lot to me. Usually I like a run or it has some other sort of meaning or amusement to me. But yeah, pretty excited to have that, actually. Really tickled. You know, it's one of those kind of things that I'd love to own everything with Green Arrow in it at some point. I mean, that's kind of a crazy goal kind of a thing. Because I don't even own all of it, just plain Green Arrow yet. I have big gaps. As much as I love Green Arrow, I have big gaps and stuff during the era when I wasn't collecting comics to go back and get. But I'm still pretty tickled to have that. So as far as old Silver Age books, that's a pretty cool one, I think. So yeah, I'll end this with George Perez, $40. We do a head sketch for you while you're standing there. Great guy, talked to him and whatnot, and I had him do Wonder Woman for me. And I am just pleased because there's nothing complicated about that, but there's no way you don't look at that and go, oh, look, it's George Perez. Even this day. Great guy. So, yeah, I mean, I had a fun time. I said, not a huge con. I would never have to go to that con for 3 days. But I was there for the whole time, so I had fun with that. I made it very casual and very leisurely, which I guess was a nice thing as far as that goes. But yeah, so I'll leave you this, and I'll leave you with the extra little bit of footage that's on the end of this. Enjoy, and I'll see you down the week. Bye.
Because now the system makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, who the hell? Hey!
He gave me the I can't decide on two.
I got one of the low numbers coming up right now.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Pretty stuff right here. Getting signatures. Any sketches?
This is signature.
Just signature?
Yeah.
You got it. You don't my number yet, or you're close to it yet? What number are you?
10? Alright, so gentlemen right there, the judge can go before you and then
No, no, since he called his number. No, 10, you're next.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never
And
left
what
the
number are
line,
you?
so help it keep you track that way.
13, okay, you're next. Okay, perfect. No, that's right. And if you want to go and come back, your number's always going to be good. You don't have to trap them.
I was going to get a sketch if he was going to get a
Oh, no.
signature. He can go ahead.
That's up to you. No. It's his option. If he wants to do that, he
he's
can.
getting a sketch and he's going to signature.
Oh, I just want signatures.
Then I'll do you then him. Okay, no problem. Not a problem. As long as everyone looks
Everybody's happy.
Exactly.
Yep, after him. Right now, for the lobby, so right now.